Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video we are taking a look at the beginning of KIZUNA Buggy. So KIZUNA Buggy has just dropped on OPTC Global, so we're going to test out those teams that I had for you guys in the preparation video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the prelims done, pick up some tickets from Alvita, and we'll see you guys in the teams. Alright, homies, so the first variation is the int variation. So the first team that I'm going to showcase from the video is this Boa team here. So what we're going to try and find is, we're going to try and find an Alvita friend. If you can't find Alvita, where is, actually what I'll do is, let's do this. We'll put Alvita on. If you can't find a friend Alvita, Shank's crew will work just as well. Oh my god, Rogers, so many Rogers. Alright, let's bring this guest Alvita just because, why not? And this is the team we're going to be running. So it is led by the Boa, super typing, and then we've just got a makeup of Psi units. So we have V3 Law, Mihawk Perona, Otama to remove the defense up, and then the Sabo that came out with the Law unit. So once we get into the fight, Fighter, Free Spirit, and Slash units get their cooldowns. So that way Mihawk Perona actually gets their cooldown, which is excellent. And we're just going to blast our way through these first couple stages. So we're going to just blast through the turtles, as we don't need to get any cooldown. And on stage 2, we are going to come up against Sabo. Sabo has a 5-turn barrier that is for 12 hits, and he puts up 4 turns of defense up. So this is where we're going to use our Otama unit. Otama's going to remove that defense up, and then we should just be able to just blast through Sabo here without any issues. Especially with Boa having barrier pan, you could just like destroy Sabo super easily. On to the final stage against Buggy now. Obviously Buggy is an int unit, as you guys know. He puts up immunity to defense down and delay. And if you do an attack boost, he basically just cucks your entire run. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use the switch ability of Mihawk and Perona. We can use the special of Boa here to get cooldowns, but with Alvita and Sabo we can get cooldowns as well. So if you want to use that on the stage before, you are definitely eligible to do that as well. Next we're going to use Law. Law's going to give us the full water orbs as well as an orb boost. We can then use Mihawk and Perona for the conditional boost. Then we have our Sabo unit. Sabo, obviously he does a healing with a HP cut, but that's not a worry. Sabo's going to give us a 1.1 times chain boost, I'm pretty sure, or 1 times chain boost. He also gives us cooldown as well. And then finally, Alvita is going to give us color affinity. So super handy. With that, we pretty much have every single buff. There isn't going to be too much of an issue taking this particular stage down. As you can see, huge damage. So that's the Boa team. As I mentioned, you don't really need to bring Alvita. She definitely helps with color affinity though, but having a friend Shank's crew for the end of turn damage will get through that resilience as well. On to the next variation now. We're coming up against the quick variation. So against the quick variation, I had 2 teams for you guys, if I can find them. So the first team we're going to use is this team here. So we are using Shank's crew as our leader, and we are going to bring a friend Kid. There we go. So this is the team we're rocking. We are using the Hatchan. If you can put him on as many teams as possible, he's going to give you guys way more tickets when you beat the run. So if you can put him on every team, and at the end I will do my teams so you guys can see just how to get as many tickets as you can in these early stages. When we come into this stage, we verse Zoro. He's going to charge our strength, dex, and quick units. So all of our units are going to get cooldown on this particular team. And because we do have X-Drake on this team, we are going to get the super typing of Kid. Now you can run Laffy if you have Laffy for a higher orb boost. But I just wanted to show you guys, like, if there are Sugos that you are missing, there are other options. Stage 2 is against Law. He has a 2-turn perfect barrier, and he's going to basically give us every single orb that works perfectly for Jinbei's special. He also puts up 4 turns of threshold, so this is where the Hatchan special is really good, as we can just remove that. Finally, we can use the switch ability of Shanks. It doesn't really matter actually now that I use the Jinbei special, now I'm thinking about it. But we just want to break the orb barriers that are on our captains, and with that attack buff from Jinbei, we should be able to take out Law fairly easily. Oh, I think Law is actually an interrupt. So Law gives us 99 turns of an orb boost. Okay, that's interesting. So Law may be an interrupt. I think, yeah, I don't remember seeing Law on the list, but there you go. So Law gives us an orb boost there, which is pretty cool. Once we get to Buggy, he gives us 5 turns of special blind. So obviously that is going to be removed through our Shanks unit. So what we're going to do here is we are normally going to use the X-Drake special for an orb boost, but we don't really need that. Then we can use our Judge special for color affinity. Then we can use our Kid super typing to give us a full board of bomb orbs. Then we can throw those bomb orbs, even though they're not going to do any damage, to get super bomb orbs. And finally, we can use our Shanks special. I always like being Shanks. It's just something that I like to do. So you don't need to switch there, but it's just something that I like. It's just being a Shanks fanboy, I gotta have Shanks in all the time. So as you guys can see there, this team has quite a bit of damage. Unfortunately, it's not going to do nearly as much damage as the Psy team. That Psy team is honestly going to be way more effective in getting higher damage. So when you guys are saving people, you're probably going to see a lot of quick and strength like salvages. So onto the strength variation now. The first team we are going to, where are we here? The first team we're going to use is this team here. So we do have a double smoker led team. You could actually, if you really wanted to, bring a sugar friend. But for the sake of this, we're just going to use the same captain that we have. So with this team, we have Shanks crew, Okiku. We have the Pudding with the support of Margaret, so she gets an orb at the end. And then we have Bobbins. So when we come into the stage, we come up against Sanchi. He's going to give our Driven, Free Spirit, and Cerebral units cooldown. So this particular team, everyone's going to get cooldowns, which is really, really nice. And then we can just fly through these first stage against the Turtles. And move into the second stage. So on the second stage, we come up against Boa. Boa has a 2-hit orb barrier, which is quick, and puts up 4 turns of damage reduction. So with the switchability of our Shanks crew, we can get an attack buff, and then we can utilize this special of Bobbins to give us some more quick orbs as well. So that way we have a full board of orbs and an attack boost, and with that we can just get through the HP of Boa. If you really want to, you could probably use the Shanks crew special there as well. That way you have a chain lock. That may help you guys in the later fights. Final stage, we come up against Buggy. Buggy's obviously a strength unit. He paralyzes our entire crew and gives our full board of orbs of empty. So this is where the special of Margaret comes into play, so we can get an orb on our Pudding unit. As what Pudding does is she not only removes the paralysis, but she also gives us a full board of Dex orbs. As you guys saw there, I had Ace on this particular team, but like, don't use Ace. I need to take him off because Akiku will give you a higher conditional boost or color affinity boost. So for the minute, it's going to be a little bit quicker because you don't have to sit through Akiku's special. But Akiku's really, really good at removing the rest of the despair that is going to get applied in the later stages. So with the specials of Smoker, we can destroy there. I didn't even use the super type there just to make life a little bit quicker. But obviously with the super typing, this team is going to do a little bit more damage. Like I said though, in the Dex variation, it's going to be really tough in the later stages for the last 2 variations teams, as the Psy team have more boosted units. So for the next team of the Int variation, we are using a Roger and Shanks crew hybrid team. Shanks crew is actually just like low-key super goat super goat for this event. Now we do have Alvida on this particular team, but Alvida is replaceable with the new Rayleigh that came out. He also does color affinity, but the reason we are using the reason we are using Alvida on this particular team is she can actually remove the defense up that gets applied on the next stage. So we are going to be using her special there. Unfortunately, this team isn't going to have a color affinity booster. But I guess you could, like in the early stages, run a friend Alvida for more points. And that way you don't have to worry about the super typing of Roger. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use our Alvida special to remove the defense up that Sabo gives. And then we can use the switchability of Shanks to give us an attack boost. And with that, we should be able to tear through our boy Sabo's HP fairly easily. Easy claps. On to the final stage against Buggy. Basically what we're going to do is we're using those 3 core units once again to give us all of the buffs that we need. Now Buggy isn't immune to stuff like poison. So what you could use is you could use the Gastino unit to remove the... what's it called? Oh, I just realized that I don't have full cooldowns on this team. That sort of sucks. That's what Alvida's there for. But it is what it is, as Law's going to get it no matter what. So we can use the switchability of Mihawk Peroni here. Unfortunately, they're not going to get their full cooldowns, but it's not the end of the world. Then we can use the special of Sabo. That way we're going to get our additional to the chain. We can use our Law special. Law is going to give us a full board of orbs. Then we can use our Roger special for an attack buff. As I mentioned, attack buffs won't work, but with Roger's amazing captain ability, we can just blow that away from Buggy. Finally, we can switch with our Shanks crew. That way we can get a full team of Psy units, so our Liberal Hind kicks in, and then we can use their special just to get the higher captain multiplier. And with that, we should just be able to destroy Buggy easy claps, and just hitting one perfect is going to do the end of turn damage to take Buggy out. So Mihawk Perona is replaceable on this team. I would probably replace Mihawk Perona with like another defense remover. That way you guys can get the full color affinity boost at the end. Or you could just bring a friend Alvida, as you guys saw there. I didn't even use the super typing of Roger. That should work for a little while. So for the next team against the quick variation, we are using a double kid team. Once again, we are using Hachan on this team. Hachan's just really, really good for this particular fight. He not only gives you boosted tickets, but he's just perfect at removing the threshold. We also have Laffy on this team. Laffy's really, really good as a high orb booster. We are using Judge once again, as he's free to play for the 2x color affinity. And we have Garp. Garp's going to remove the special bind, and he's also going to give us a chain lock. Because we have Laffy, we can get the super typing of Kid. And because we are running all Psy Dex units, we get our cooldowns as well, which is very, very nice. So on stage 2, we actually come up against Jinbei. That's who we're meant to fight, not Law. So we come up against Jinbei. Jinbei is going to give us that orb manipulation that you guys saw there in the last fight. And what we're actually going to do here is we're going to use our Hachan special once again. Hachan is going to remove the threshold. And then we can use a Kid super typing here just to give us a full board of bomb orbs. And that way we just have every single orb. Finally, we can switch with our Laffy unit. And that way we can sort of just bust our way through the barrier easy peasy. Oh, no, we can't. Take it back. Cool. So on to the final stage against Buggy now. We are going to need a way to get a chain lock, and that's what Garp's here, and to remove the special bind, sorry. So Garp is going to do that for us, so we can use Garp's special here. He's going to give us a 3.25 chain lock, as well as remove the special bind, which is very, very handy. Then we can use the super typing of Kid once again. That way we can just guarantee ourselves a full board of orbs, and with his special, we can get a 2.5 times attack boost to our Dex units. Once we have the attack boost, we can switch back into Luffy, use the Luffy special for the 2.5 times orb boost, and then finally finish it off with Judge's special to get a 2 times color affinity to our Dex units. What you want to do with this team is you do want to start off with Garp hitting the chain, as he's not getting all the buffs, and then hit with your Dex units after that. That way the chain lock kicks in. So they were the 2 main Dex teams that I showcased in the prep video. I will have a team for the highest sort of points in the next team that you guys see against this variation. Alright, so the final team that I had for you guys in my prep video was this team here against the strength variation. So this team is a double Sobermask led team. Sobermask is going to be really, really good for this, especially being like for the older players that don't actually have the newer units. He's going to work very, very well, especially with his jump mechanic, especially moving into the late stages when you do get to sped. So all of this team does have cooldowns, which is really, really handy, and it's going to work very, very well for a significant amount of time. So you can replace Sugar with any sort of chain locker. That's going to be your best option. And I'm not 100% sure if we do need the Zoro, what's it called? The Rainbow Shield up. Man, words are hard. So we are going to use the jump ability here. I imagine with the jump ability of Sanji, we should be fine to get rid of the damage reduction, but we are just going to use the special of Zoro just to be safe. Now with that, we can just blast our way through the barrier with Sanji and his jump ability, and that way we can take out Boa. So yeah, by the look of it, you probably don't need that damage reduction removal, but you can always remove it with Zoro as well. Onto the final stage against Buggy now. Buggy is going to paralyze our crew and remove all of our orbs. So we do have the support of the limited rare recruit Chopper on this particular team. He's not overly essential. Like I said, you could replace Viola with a better orb booster. Sorry, a better paralysis removal. But the reason we're bringing Viola is she not only removes those 2 turns of paralysis, but she gives us an additional chain buff, which helps out Sugar. We've also got Kuzan on this team. Kuzan's going to give us color affinity and orbs for our entire team. Then we can use our Sobermask specials to get a 2.5 times attack boost. And then finally, we are going to finish it off with Sugar. So Sugar is going to turn everyone into bears except for the Sanji units, obviously because they have been jumping. And with that, we can just clap Buggy. Easily peasy. So that was the double Cybermask team, guys. It should work for a very long time. I'm not 100% sure if like Sugar's bears work through the paralysis. Let me know in the comment section below if that does work. I'm pretty sure she has to get the attack in for that to work. So just make sure she's attacking. You could also run her as a captain. That way you don't have to worry about the paralysis at all. And for the final team against the int variation, this is the team that I'm going to be running for majority of the start of Kizuna. This way you can just get the most amount of tickets from you guys' runs. Bringing a friend Alvita is going to help you guys out quite a bit in terms of your ticket growth, as well as bringing Hachan on pretty much any team you possibly can. Hachan's really, really good because he removes Threshold and he removes the and paralysis. So he does work fairly well on the Dex and the quick variant like teams. But for this side team, he doesn't really hold too much of a place. Literally the only reason I have him on this particular team is to get more tickets. So on stage 4 against Sabo, we are going to use one of our Alvita specials. Alvita's going to remove that defense up for us, which is super handy. And then we can take out Sabo easy peasy, just like that. Moving into the boss stage now, we are coming up against Buggy and his mob members. With Buggy, he does roll our specials back as well. It's something I didn't mention in the earlier stages. So utilizing Boa or having like a friend Alvita with someone else that can roll specials forward is going to help you out, just like this Hachan actually does. So we could have used Boa on that other stage actually to make sure that we are the 5 times multiplier to our Psy units, but it is what it is. It's going to make things a little bit quicker here just in the early stages for us. That way we don't have to sort of just sit through so many specials. So with the Law special, we have a Chain Lock and an Orb boost. Alvita is going to give us Color Affinity, and Mihawk Perona is going to give us the Conditional boost. Finally, with the super typing of Boa, we can get a 2.5 times attack boost to our Psy units, and that way we can just absolutely just devour Buggy and his minions. Make sure you start attacking with Hachan. He is Rainbow, which is great, so he does get the Color Affinity boost. And as you guys can see there, this team is just going to have heaps of damage for a very, very long time. So if you guys need as many tickets as possible to get all of those extra chest drops, make sure you are running the Hachan and a friend Alvita, and your own Alvita if you've got one. So the team that I'm going to be rocking against the quick variation looks a little bit like this. So this team is basically identical to the kid team that you guys saw in the last fight, but we did take off Judge and replace Judge with Alvita, and then we're bringing a friend Alvita. I'm not sure how long this team's actually going to work for, but Alvita is, I think, a Free Spirit and Striker booster as her captain. Yeah, so she boosts Free Spirit and Strikers by 5 times, which is really, really strong. Really, really good. So she does have a boosted captain ability for this Kizuna, which is great. I wasn't 100% sure of that, actually. But that's nice to know. So probably going to replace Luffy or Laffy on this particular team, as they won't be getting the full buff once you go into their dual form. You're probably better off to bring the what's his name, X-Drake, because X-Drake, I'm pretty sure X-Drake's a striker. I'll have to double check that, but yeah, we'll have to double check that. So what we're going to do here is we are going to use the super typing of Kid. That way we can get bomb orbs, and we're going to keep those bomb orbs next. So we want to hit a perfect with our Alvita to get rid of that orb there, and then we can just hit with our units down the bottom, as all of those orbs are locked. As you guys can see there, we have lots and lots of damage against Jinbei. On to the final stage against Buggy now. We are going to use our Garp special once again to remove the special blind and get around that chain debuff coefficient. Then we can use our Kid special once this interrupts hurries up. We can use the Kid special. He's going to throw those orbs and give us bomb orbs. We can use Laffy here. Laffy's here to trigger the super typing, and that way we can get a high orb booster. We can use Alvita for color affinity, which is really, really good because she's a 2.25 color affinity booster. And the Alvitas are super effective against all types here, so that makes life a lot easier for us. So as I mentioned, I would probably replace Laffy with X-Drake. I I'm 90% sure that X-Drake is a striker unit. But otherwise, you can just leave Laffy there, as they are free spirit before you join them. And that 2.5 orb boost is nothing to shrug at. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, you could replace them. Oh no, you do need the super typing effect, so they are pretty much essential. So onto the final team now against the strength variation. This is the team that I'm going to be using for a little while. Unfortunately, Shank's crew isn't getting a buff from the second Alvita captain, but in the early stages, it's not really going to be a huge issue. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a way to get a full board of orbs here, so we are utilizing some weird supports. We do have Boa on our Alvita, and we do have the Margaret on Shank's crew. That way, we can just sort of guarantee us as many orbs as possible. With this particular team, we are still getting all of our cooldowns, which is excellent. It does help us out quite a bit. But unfortunately, we don't really have an attack booster on this particular team either. So we are going to rely on the Shank's crew switch ability just to get that 1.5 times attack boost as well. But like I said, in the early stages, it's just all about getting those tickets. These teams will evolve over time, so keep an eye out for my playthrough videos as they come. So on this stage against Boa now, we are going to use our Bobbin special once again. That way we can give ourselves a quick orb. That did not work the way I wanted it to. Okay. Well, we're going to have to switch with Shank's crew here, unfortunately. That way we can give ourselves 2 quick orbs. Just switch with Shank's crew on the first turn, so that way you can guarantee that extra quick orb there. Totally Space Cadet mode that, but it's not the end of the world. As I mentioned in the early stages, it's not going to be a big worry. Then we can use one of the specials of Alvita. That is going to give us color affinity for our quick units, and it's going to give color affinity to the booster units, as they are super effective against all types. Moving into the final stage against Buggy now. As you guys know, you've heard me ramble on that he is a strength type unit. Shocker, right? With Buggy, we are going to get paralyzed, our entire crew, not our captains though, which is great. And we get a full board of empty orbs. So that's where our supports come in, so we can get a few orbs there. Then with the switch ability of Shanks, we can give ourselves some more orbs on our other units. Ideally here, this is where you want to switch into the quick variation. But now that I'm sort of looking at it, it's probably not going to matter, as you're going to get a Psy orb there as well. So we can use Hatchan here. Hatchan is going to remove the paralysis. Then we can use the Shank's crew special. He's going to give us a 3.5 times chain lock. Unfortunately, there is an interrupt because it's a HP cut. Then we can use Alvita for color affinity. And finally, because we have an attack boost, Smoke is actually going to give us a 2.5 orb boost to our quick units. Then we can use the super typing of our Smoker. And just make sure you hit with your quick units last. That way you can just output the most damage. Shank's crew isn't getting a buff here, so we do want to use him early. And then we can use our other units to just destroy Buggy. So this team's not going to last very long, but as I mentioned, the teams that I'm using at the moment are all about getting the most tickets. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to smash that like button. And if you want to stay up to date with more OPTC content I post, hit that big red subscribe button too. But guys, most importantly, enjoy the rest of your day. Good luck in KIZUNA, and I thank you guys for watching. Lights!